So, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 3 is due to premiere on Amazon Prime at the end of this year, as per current reports. It was expected to come out at the beginning of 2027, but it's actually going to be the end of this year. I know so many of you are just giddy with anticipation. Yeah, absolutely. Right there with you. I know. Why? Why and how is this show still a thing? The show that has disappointed many Tolkien fans the world over, with poor writing and many canonical departures from Tolkien's original Middle-earth trilogy, and turning Galadriel into a badass tough chick warrior, and then having this weird romantic tension between her and Sauron. I mean, it's just ridiculous stuff. From a viewership perspective, the show has been a disappointment for Amazon in terms of numbers, in terms of viewership numbers. I've covered that in previous videos, but one of the main reasons it's disappointed is because of how expensive it is to make. Amazon purchased the rights to make the series from the Tolkien estate for $250 million, and they have a plan to do 5 seasons of the show. 5 seasons. And the total cost then to complete those 5 seasons is expected to be north of $1 billion. $1 billion. And as we're going to talk about later, the first season cost $465 million to make. And they do 8 episodes per season. So that cost averages out to be basically $58 million per episode. Here's the thing. Given the lackluster performance of the show and how poorly it's been received by Lord of the Rings fans, I think if we were dealing with any other IP, this series would probably have been cancelled by now. And I think there's a number of reasons why the show is still going, and I want to explore those reasons a little bit in this video. And I also want to read this article. This article is from sffgazette.com. That's the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Gazette. It says, from Game of Thrones killer to costly commitment, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power's future revealed. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power was supposed to be Prime Video's Game of Thrones beater. But Season 1 struggled to win over longtime Middle-earth fans and never really found the same level of mainstream success. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, it never stood a chance. Rings of Power was never appointment viewing water cooler gossip like Game of Thrones was. This show just feels like a poor knockoff with a Lord of the Rings veneer. It says, after Season 1's budget reportedly ballooned to as much as $465 million, production moved from New Zealand to the UK for a second season that proved largely forgettable. While Season 3 finished shooting last December, many fans have wondered what the future holds in store for The Rings of Power and its supposed 5-season plan. $465 million for the production budget. Absolutely staggeringly expensive for what was 8 episodes in that first season. After watching that season, does anyone actually see $465 million on screen? It says The Witcher has been cut short on Netflix, and even the Harry Potter franchise scrapped the Fantastic Beasts movies when box office returns diminished. So could the story of Sauron's quest to forge the One Ring go unresolved if Amazon decide Middle-earth is no longer a worthwhile investment? Despite low viewership, a new report from The Ankler's Leslie Goldberg has confirmed that the plan is for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, to receive its 5-season run as planned on Prime Video. However, spin-offs likely won't move forward due to the franchise's high costs. Yeah, a spin-off show can only be justified if the original show is so successful that it can launch a follow-up series. There's no way I think they're going to do a spin-off of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, when the show is so expensive to make and it's returning these underwhelming viewership numbers. I'd say Amazon is just going to go through the motions with this show at this point. They've committed to making the show, to making the 5 seasons, so they'll just try to meet that commitment and see out the 5 seasons. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if the budget gets cut for each new season that comes along, and maybe even, possibly, a reduction in the number of episodes from perhaps 8 down to 6. Who knows? That could happen. That would be one way of curtailing costs if they needed to. So back to the article, it says, depending on how season 3 performs, it's not outside the realm of possibility that the story be condensed before concluding with season 4, which is expected to release 2 years after the third batch of episodes premieres later in 2026. Amazon's founder and CEO, Jeff Bezos, is thought to be a big supporter of the Rings of Power, with one source saying that the series remains under his magical halo. It's previously been reported that Amazon would have to pay $20 million per season it doesn't produce. And this is the key, and I've talked about this before. As per the terms of the deal, if Amazon was to cancel Rings of Power, they would have to pay $20 million per season to the Tolkien estate. Now, to be fair, if they were to say cancel the show after the 3rd season, that would mean they would have to pay $20 million for season 4 and $20 million for season 5. So $40 million. It's not that much money when you think about it. I think in the grand scheme of things, that would be a small price to pay if they didn't want to spend any more money on the show. You know, if they feel that the return on investment isn't there, then just cut your losses. Just cancel the show and just take the hit of the $40 million or whatever. When weighed against the production costs of a season of the show, it might make a lot of sense. But even though they've spent, over $1 billion or whatever on this series, and who knows what it'll be by the end, realistically, I think $1 billion, even $1 billion, really isn't very much to a company like Amazon. I mean, Amazon is the biggest online retailer on the planet. $1 billion for a series is small change when you consider how massive Amazon's retail business is, and also when you consider Amazon Web Services. So The Rings of Power may be one of the most expensive series ever made, but Amazon has very, very deep pockets. They are more than capable of footing the bill. Ultimately, I think that's the reason Rings of Power is still a thing. So yeah, for that reason alone, I think that's why we're going to get 5 seasons of this show. I think the Lord of the Rings of Power is going to do 5 full seasons. I could be wrong, but I think it will. I don't think they're going to cancel it. But there you go. Those are my thoughts, guys. I'm going to wrap the video up there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Computing Forever. Hit that like button. Share the video out there. Take care. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.